if you shoot and it's not on YouTube, did it even happen? No, I'm not sure. It didn't. Actually, I'll shoot this one. Hey, this one's already set up, so I'll shoot this one. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to pick up. So far, it's been running. Try one. So it's just one hour. All right, YouTube, we're back. We got the GIRSAN 6, and we've shot 2 matches with it, so call it the GIRSAN 6 250 round review, from the box to the match, whatever you want to call it. I shot IDPA, shot USPSA, I got some info, and we'll lay it all out here. If you end up buying some additional mags for this GIRSAN, if you end up buying a gun based off these reviews, one of the things you can do to help the channel, to help support me and these reviews, is to buy your magazines, because you're only going to get one with the gun. To buy any additional magazines that you use for this or your Berettas, using my affiliate link down in the comments for Gun Mag Warehouse, which is where I've ordered plenty of magazines from Gun Mag Warehouse. I really think they're fast on shipping. They got pretty good prices. They usually have the high capacity Met GARs in stock, or some of the other Teflon coated type ones. But if you want to support the channel, or you end up picking up something like this and you need more mags for it, or you know, go ahead and use the link for Gun Mag Warehouse. It would help me out quite a bit. So, all right, a couple things. This grip texture, that's where I'm gonna start. Grip texture is really good. This like pebbly stuff is in the right spot. I didn't struggle. I do use some like grip enhancers type stuff here, you can see, and that does help, but that helps any grip. I use that, but ultimately this gun really holds in your hand. Obviously I haven't run it in the mud and blood and all that, and the water and all that, but you know, for indoor firing, the grip's pretty good. The finger grooves, I could take them or leave them. They're there. They didn't bother me. It did help me know, and I had a good locked in grip. So I have no strong opinion one way or the other on the finger grooves. The sights, first match I ran them stock configuration, which is 3-dot white. And then the second match, the USPSA match, I did black out the rears. That helped quite a bit. If I were to continue to really put time and money and want to shoot this a lot more, I would replace the rear sight with some sort of probably Wilson Combat or some other rear sight. I just don't like the Novak sights. It's kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's big enough. It's kind of weird. I think maybe it needs to be wider. I'm not really certain, but it's functional. I had no trouble reading them and using them, but it did get better when I blacked them out, and I would replace them if I was serious about continuing with this pistol long term. Ergonomics. If you can shoot a 92, you can shoot this gun. Why? Because it's basically a 92. So yeah, ergonomics work out, draws, index, all that sort of stuff. First match, you know, coming out of the holster, it more or less pointed and shot where I thought it should shoot and where it should have shot. So ergonomics are there. They're solid. Again, I already mentioned the finger grooves. That's about the only change. And then with the grip being a little thinner, I am able to get to this without sort of any modification. I'm able to drop the slide without sort of any grip modification. You know, that's easy for me to reach. Also, I don't need the extended mag release as well, because I can reach all of that with these grips on it. So, and I would say I have a medium-sized hand. Magwell. Magwell's a big plus, actually, in production and stock service pistol and others, you know, sports where you are not allowed to change the pistol externally. The Magwell is a big benefit. The other thing I will tell you is use the Magwell magazines and not the Beretta 92 magazines. You can see how this got blocky, right? And this is rounded off. That's another small little advantage, that only thing it does is means that you just have to use the Magwell magazines, and that will help your reloads in the gun games. So, you know, just another little tip. But the bevel is like, I don't know if you ever shot like a CZP01, SP01. They're beveled and they reload better than they should, despite being a, you know, factory Magwell. Now, are they as good as the Gen 5 Glocks or something? Probably not. But for a Beretta, it is better than a stock Beretta 92, unless it's one of the Beretta 92 series that has a beveled Magwell. So yes, beveled Magwell is obviously a good thing. Rail, I'm 250 rounds into this. I haven't used it, frankly, but it is definitely an advantage over a non-railed 92. It doesn't look that much different, but again, I'm not going to speak to it other than that it has one, so that's good. Trigger. Couple things about this trigger, and I don't know if it is this individual sample or if it is all GIRSANs, but it tends to have more stacking in the double action, and then the single action breaks cleaner. So with this gun, with the D-spring in it, which is the exact same D-spring I have in a 92, this has a better single action trigger, but a worse, because of the double action stacking, trigger with the same trigger spring. For me personally, I shoot a lot of Tanfolios, or I have in the past, and they have a short hammer spring and therefore stack. So it actually was good for me. I was kind of used to it. But those of you who have 92 series Berettas should be aware that the trigger, double action trigger pull, will not be as good as your 92 series, but the single action will be better and lighter. I put them on the trigger pull gauge, and it was about a pound lighter in single action with the same trigger weight. With the same hammer spring weight. So good info there. For the slide, I would consider this an upgrade to the 92 series. It's time for front serrations. Beretta, the LTT has them, and they are awesome. Please put them there. You can't grab anything else up here, so you might as well be able to get a front grip. Now, some people say just use the back. Well, the back's fine. You know, that's always been an option, but it is nice to also have the front serrations as well. So that is a upgrade for the 92, and I found them to be useful and functional. They grab well enough, even if it's just the four little cuts here, but I've still been able to use them. Accuracy. I did not bench test this, but I did test various ammos out of it and shot them. I did not chronograph them, but I was just checking to make sure that the ammo would not tumble, and accuracy was acceptable, or what I would just consider the same as a 92 series, my other Berettas that I've shot. That said, it is not a chrome line barrel, which actually might increase accuracy. Again, I'm like 250 rounds into this thing. If you want to do a big in-depth review and bench and, you know, ransom rest it, please let me know. Link to that. I'll check it out. But as far as practical accuracy goes, at about, 20 yards, I've found no difference between this sample gun and some of the 92 series that I have. Magazine and slide stop. Let's have a brief discussion about Beretta 15-round factory mags versus Beretta factory 17-round mags versus GIRSAN factory Magwell and aftermarket Magwell magazines. Basically, the slide stop, the little part that's sticking in there, you can see it right there. I'll throw up some pictures, is not long enough for the follower on the 17 rounders, and thus it slips off that little shelf. You can see it's all marred up actually, and it slips off that shelf and hangs it grabs the follower there, and then, sorry for about the focus, and then it grabs that follower there, and then does not let the magazine drop free. So if you're going to buy this gun, this GIRSAN, and you have the factory 17 rounders, know that you could have a problem. I was not able to drop a 92 series slide stop in it, which could potentially have a longer like arm and solve that problem, but the factory 15 round magazines do not have that problem, and the Magwell magazines do not have that problem. So I have, you know, plenty of Magwells, but I cannot use my 17 rounders. So I have to use some Beretta mags and Magwells. And I have enough, but if you have a bunch of 17 rounders, be aware you could have problems with those magazines with this gun. Lastly, as mentioned, I can reach this magazine release. It's fine with these grips. I have no problem getting to it, but I feel like it's kind of a miss for GIRSAN to not just go ahead and update this to the slightly bigger one that's on the new 92 series, 92X series pistols, and on the LTT and some others. Why not just go ahead and put the extended one in there and go ahead and have that work. A couple other miscellaneous notes that will probably not be of interest to anyone except for 92 series folks and people that are really, really picky about their guns. One, the extractor pin is not staked like a 92 series Beretta gun would have a staked extractor pin. It's not staked. It's just in there. Good or bad, you decide. I don't know. Other thing, take down pin spring, that when you push on that button, it pushes that detent out, which then allows you to rotate that down, right? You push that, and then you can rotate that part. All right, makes sense? That spring in here for this button, I just noticed is much weaker than the one in my 92 series. Is it a deal breaker? Is it a problem? Probably not. It's probably just fine. It probably has more than enough attention to keep that. But since you don't really need that pin for anything else, you might as well go with a stronger spring. I don't know. It's just something I noticed. It's probably not good or bad or anything. It's just, I'm going to point it out. And then finally, of probable more interest to Beretta fans, this is a F series clone. This is not an FS series clone. Why? What's missing here is the trigger pin does not have that big oversized circle that if this were to break and slide off, it could slide right off the back of the gun. That doesn't happen anymore as far as I know of or heard of, but if you know anything about the history of the 92 FS and the S part of the 92 FS, then it doesn't have it. It's a 92 F, okay? Again, probably just some like trivia for the 92 series fans, but good to know, and just I found it to be interesting. And then finally, in the 250 rounds, I also shot a mix of ammo that I had laying around. I shot some Winchester white box. I shot some plated 124s, some 147s, and some 125 flat point ammo. And this thing ate it all up like Berettas do, because Berettas are direct feed guns, and it had no problem. So I did not get a chance to run hollow points in this, but I would trust it would do just as well as any 92 series gun. For me, this is a solid purchase. I'm very happy with it, and I would recommend it. Now, how did this gun do at the match? So, IDPA match, that was our first one. I left it complete bone stock. Did pretty good. Trigger weight was a little heavy for me, and I found that to be a problem, and I was dropping points where I was anticipating the gun to go off, and it wasn't going off. So I dropped more points than I would like, but when I did my part, it was spot on. It was really good. I quickly felt comfortable into it. It's just over the course of the night, in IDPA, points down are punishing, and I found that hurt my score overall.
Stand by. Stand by.
So the next week for USPSA, I went ahead and replaced the recoil spring with a 9-pound recoil spring. I like them really light for my reloads. It really helps the timing of the other Berettas I've got and the ammo that I shoot with it. Do I recommend you go to a 9-pound spring? I don't know. It depends on the ammo you shoot, whatever. But for me and my guns, it works really well. So I did a 9-pound recoil spring and the D spring. And the D spring helped lighten that trigger up for me a little bit. It's a highly recommended mod on any 92 series from anybody. So I went ahead and did it, and I also blacked out the rear sights, and the combination of those factors really helped me do a lot better in the USPSA and sort of perform to what I feel is my level, with you know, some reloading hangups, which are all on me because I've been shooting high cap division. So I you know, was late on starting reloads and would just kind of bobble reloads in general. But those are not the gun's faults. Those are mental errors. So I thought the gun did really well the second week out. I had spent a bit more time with it, pulled the trigger a bit more, did a little bit more dry fire. And surprise, surprise, you do better with it that second week. So
Are you ready? Stand by. Stand by. Are you ready? Stand by. Stand by.
would I recommend this gun to anybody? Yes, anybody that likes the 92 series guns, I would recommend it. If you already have a 92 series Beretta, a true Beretta, I recommend it as a pickup, as sort of like a compare and contrast, just something sort of a bit of an interesting pistol that you can have in with your Beretta collection. If you're new to Berettas and you've never owned a Beretta 92 before, I might suggest that you try and find a 92 FS on the used market before I recommended this. That said, in this crazy, you know, post-2020 market right now, if you can find this and you've always wanted a Beretta 92, this basically is a Beretta 92. It's just, you know, a clone, and it's made in Turkey by GIRSAN, right? So, you know, I'm not gonna judge you for going ahead and picking this one up as your like first quote Beretta. But I do think you owe it to yourself to pick up a Beretta 92, a true Beretta 92 FS or something along those lines. There's plenty of them in the used market, and often the ones from like the mid-late 90s are really cheap and are really good guns. So, you know, keep that in mind. If you can find a used Beretta, go with that, in my opinion. But if this is your first option, or if this is it and this is sitting in front of you, I think you can't go wrong with this gun. It's a really solid option. There are plenty of, you know, mags out there for it. So, you know, make your own decision. But I do like this gun. I will probably hold on to this gun a long term. The not being able to swap out the front sight is giving me a hard time about making it a bedside gun. But a Beretta 92 that I can drop an 18 round mag in there, then do a plus extension on it, and a rail, that makes it a really solid bedside gun option. Carry option, it's a little long, but people, including myself, have carried full-size Beretta at 92 FSs before in the past, and they'll do so in the future. It is an option. Just how you dress and the holster you get plays a big factor into that. Could you carry this? Sure. Could you make it a home defense gun? Absolutely. Could it be a range toy? 120%. You know, I think you're getting good value for your money, and you know, I bought this with my money. GIRSAN didn't put me up for any of this. I'm pretty happy with my purchase. So take that info with a grain of salt, and I'll talk to you later. Look forward to maybe 1 or 2 more videos on this gun. I'm not sure right now. I'm probably going to be practicing with my regular gear, trying to get back into the 2021 season for USPSA, but I do enjoy this gun. I think it's a solid option, but you'll probably see me shooting my Berettas if I'm going to shoot anything. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to ride with Barry down here to the shed.